The apartment was perfect. Until I found the hidden room. I'm 27 and for the first time in my life, I'm living alone. I moved into this apartment about a month ago. A small one-bedroom in a quiet, older building on the edge of town. It's nothing fancy. Peeling paint on the walls, creaky hardwood floors, and windows that rattle when the wind picks up. But it was affordable, and after years of roommates and shared spaces, it felt like freedom. I was ready for a fresh start. But now, I don't know what to think. I need to get this off my chest because I'm starting to question my own sanity. The first week was fine. I was busy unpacking, figuring out where to put my thrift store furniture, and getting used to the silence of living alone. But then I started noticing little things. The lights would flicker sometimes, just for a second, usually late at night. I'd be in the living room scrolling on my phone, and the overhead bulb would stutter like it was struggling to stay on. I chalked it up to old wiring. This building's got to be at least 50 years old. I turned the light off and on, and it'd stop. No big deal. Then there were the objects. I'm kind of a neat freak, so I notice when things aren't where I left them. A coffee mug I swore I'd put in the sink would be back on the counter. My keys, which I always hang on a hook by the door, would end up on the kitchen table. Once I found one of my sneakers in the hallway like I'd kicked it off mid-step, but I hadn't. I told myself I was just tired, maybe distracted from the stress of the move. I work long hours at a call center, and the constant noise of complaints in my headset leaves me drained. It's easy to misplace things when your brain's fried, right? The footsteps started around the second week. I'd hear them at night, soft but distinct, like someone pacing in the hallway outside my bedroom. The first time I froze under my blankets, heart pounding, listening to the slow creak, creak, creak on the floorboards. I told myself it was the neighbors upstairs. Old buildings carry sound, don't they? But the pacing didn't stop. Every night around 2 or 3 a.m., I'd hear it. Sometimes it sounded closer, like it was right outside my door. I started sleeping with earplugs, but even then, I'd wake up with this uneasy feeling like someone had been watching me. I mentioned it to my neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, an older woman who's lived in the building for decades. She's sweet but a little nosy, always asking how I'm settling in. When I brought up the noises, her face tightened and she said, "Oh, these old places make all sorts of sounds. You'll get used to it." But there was something in her eyes, like she wasn't telling me everything. I brushed it off. I didn't want to seem paranoid. Things got weirder in the third week. I started finding notes, not full sentences, just scraps of paper with random words scrawled in smudged pencil. The first one was tucked under a stack of books on my shelf. Watch. I thought maybe it was mine, something I'd jotted down and forgotten. But then I found another in the kitchen drawer. They know. The handwriting was shaky, like whoever wrote it was in a hurry. My stomach dropped. I live alone. I don't write notes like that. I started checking the locks obsessively, but they were always secure. No signs of a break-in. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe the previous tenant left them behind and I was just finding them as I settled in. But it didn't explain why they kept showing up in places I'd already been through. I called my landlord, a gruff guy named Tom who clearly didn't want to be bothered. He said the previous tenant was some guy who'd left in a hurry and didn't leave a forwarding address. No name, no details. People come and go, Tom said. Don't worry about it. Easy for him to say. Last week, things escalated. We can't show the full story in this short video. To watch the complete story, please click the link in the description.